high wealth. Can you please have high energy just for this weekend? Will you do that? Okay, good. Good. So, communication kindergarten. There are 2 requirements for communication. If you've heard me say this before, don't let it out. There are 2 requirements. Can you imagine what the 2 most basic requirements are for communication? For verbal communication. Language, yes, that's really basic. Okay, good. You know what? No. There are people who don't speak the same language, but they can still get their ideas across. You don't even need language. Wow. Okay, that was a good try. That got me for a few seconds. Yes. Go with the flow. You'll have to speak louder. Follow the flow. Follow your intuition. No, I can have a prepared speech and go word for word for my prepared speech and not follow any flow and not use any intuition. And still you can feel it. Yes. Body language. Yeah, body language is helpful. But you can screw it up if you don't know these 2 things. What is the 2 most basic things required? Clarity. Okay, I'll let you out of your pain. Make sure you write this down. There has to be a speaker and a listener. It's kindergarten. And now I'm going to show you how you violate it all the time. All the time. Let's talk about speaker. There has to be a speaker. If you're speaking, who's the speaker? Yeah, yeah. And you make this mistake in every sentence that you speak. For example, read me the first quotation marked thing I asked you to write down. It was yours. It should be easy. How can we take our business and transform it? Who's the speaker? We? How many people are sitting in his seat? There's only one person in his seat. Why is he referring to himself as... Okay, I get it. Why is he referring to himself as we? Here's the reason. Because he's hiding. When you hide, there's no speaker. In the last presidential election, Queen Hillary was going to win for sure. It was absolutely known. In England, where it's legal to bet on anything, it was like she was like a 7-6 favorite. Everyone knew she was going to win. And then there was this black guy, which is like ridiculous, who said he wanted to run against Hillary. Well, only Hillary could win the Democrat nomination, so he wasn't even going to get to run because he's not going to beat Hillary. But he was visible. He just wouldn't let up. He kept losing primary after primary after primary, but he kept himself visible. And he won, as we know, obviously. If he'd hidden, if he'd referred to himself as we, if he had not made himself visible, he would not have won. When you refer to yourself as we, unless you're the queen, that's the exception. If you're the queen, you can say we are not amused. But if you're anyone south of the queen, then the pronoun for the speaker is I. Practically no one has used that pronoun so far. You've used we, or everyone, or you. So, when I speak, the pronoun that I use for myself is I. Why? I'm going to tell you 2 stories. They're only a sentence long. I want you to see if you can feel the difference. Story 1. You know how you get up in the morning and stub your toe and it blows your whole day? Story 2. This morning I stubbed my toe. Oh man, it's blowing my whole day. Put up your hand if you can feel the difference. Because in the second one, I'm revealing myself. I'm actually the speaker. In the first one, I'm generalizing. You might say, but it is a generalization. It is true. No, it isn't. Generalizations are always false. Why are all generalizations false? because there's an assumption, because there's some guy in Iceland for which it's not true. For example, when I wake up and stub my toe, it actually doesn't ruin my whole day. When a disaster happens to me, it doesn't ruin my day. And so when you generalize like that, it's actually not true about me. So your generalizations are false and boring. Why are they boring? Because you're not talking about yourself. You're not talking about me. You're talking about some phantom people who live in Iceland, whom I don't care about. Every generalization is false and boring. Even if you think it's mostly true, it's still boring. If you want to be boring, don't expect to be a great communicator. Don't expect to make any money communicating. So, if you say, everyone should be in this room, it's so exciting. It's not true. Not everyone should be in this room. Donald Trump shouldn't be in this room. The Pope should not be in this room. So every generalization you make is wrong, and it's also boring. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Who cares? But if you say, I'm happy to be in this room, now you're talking.